Should the Phoenix Suns start a rebuild? As we know, or if you don't know, the Phoenix Suns just got swept by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round of the playoffs. To put things into context, this team was put together to win a championship this season, not next season, not in upcoming seasons. This season, they went all in, and we'll talk about how much they went all in and how they might be in, kind of trouble. So getting knocked out in the first round is a disappointment, for the franchise and for the team's, expectations. We're not going to get into the whole failure thing. I know the whole Giannis situation. I'm not saying failure or not. I'm just saying a disappointment. They obviously thought they could go, win a title, the team itself, or maybe they didn't, I don't know. But the expectation was that they should win a title, and the franchise went all in so that they could win a title. So the franchise, at least, thought they had a chance. And now they're in a very tricky situation. Let's get into those numbers. Shout out to whoever put this, graphic up. I was on Twitter. I saw it, so I wanted to put it up here. So as you can see, the, evaluation of the Phoenix Suns is about $4 billion. What that means is the Phoenix Suns are worth a ton of money, and there's a reason that Matt Ishbia went all in. This is how far they went. The Phoenix Suns, correct me if I'm wrong, have 0 picks from 2025 to 2030. 0 first-round picks, 0 second-round picks. They used them all on the Kevin Durant move and the Bradley Beal move, and then, all the other moves they made. I guess for Nurkic, they probably used it on him as well. I forgot exactly how that deal went, the DeAndre Ayton one. But regardless, they have no picks. So why is that such a big deal? Well, you have 0 picks for the next 5 years after 2024, right? And this team, currently constructed, there's really no room to make any upgrades financially because all the money is tied up in Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. I saw the numbers somewhere, but I don't know exactly what it was. But I believe it's like $49 million for Kevin Durant, $49 million for Devin Booker, and like $50 million for Bradley Beal. Or something along those lines. Like something along the lines where there is so much money tied up in those 3 players because of their contracts. So why is that a big deal? Well, besides obviously it not working out this year, and the thing that we all have said all year, well, at least I said, is that they need a point guard. Other people said they need a point guard. I still think they need a point guard. I also think there wasn't enough ball to go around. There just wasn't. Because, Bradley Beal, whether or not you think he is a 30-point per game scorer at this point in his career, some of those performances were really not Bradley Beal-like. And he also was struggling with injury literally the whole year, so that doesn't help either. But I don't feel like it was a really good fit for him, or all 3 of them together, because you need a point. You need, Chris Paul back, honestly. Chris Paul, I'm not saying would have made them win the championship, but I'm just saying they needed someone like Chris Paul back to facilitate, and someone who doesn't need to take any shots. That combined with the fact with, the little chemistry they had, and just the whole roster construction was not great. So the point is, they have all their money tied up in those 3 players. And while Devin Booker definitely has a ton of trade value, and Kevin Durant definitely still has trade value as well, the problem is Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. And I don't know what he would want in order to waive his no trade clause. And the evaluation of Bradley Beal around the league, whether it's fair or not, is nowhere near Devin Booker or Kevin Durant. And they're going to have a hard time getting his contract to somebody else's books while getting what they would want in return, another star, in order to keep the team a championship contender. And then the other part of it is, let's just say they kept all 3 of them and they said, we're going to run it back, we're going to win next year. Again, they have no money to sign players except, on those, vet minimums, which works out sometimes, but you're really, making it tough when all the money is tied up in 3 players and you can't have proper depth. And given the injury history of all 3 of those players, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal, you need depth just in case. So I also saw this stat, shout out to whoever put this up, but this was the series between the Wolves and the Suns, the statistics. So as you could see, the Phoenix Suns got out-rebounded by 15, about 15 per game. That's not good. They obviously were outscored by a ton per game, but we know this. They also, as you could see, Minnesota had 25 per game, which, it's still good. But Phoenix didn't even hit 20 assists per game. To me, that indicates there was a ton of ISO, which is kind of the whole reason we all thought that this wouldn't be a great fit, because it's going to be Devin Booker one-on-one, Kevin Durant one-on-one, Bradley Beal one-on-one, because they are great individual scorers, but all together, you need to have, you need to be passing the ball more. And I just want to say, I'm not calling anybody a ball hog. We know that Kevin Durant, for example, is not a ball hog. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they didn't have the personnel to be like, let's say, the Indiana Pacers this year, where Halliburton's dishing, and they're averaging 30 assists per game or whatever. So now that, again, they are in a tough situation, they have to, make a move, because the team as currently constructed is not going to win a championship. So I have seen some proposed trades that I think are kind of interesting. The one that I saw on Bleacher Report today was Devin Booker to the Jazz. And why that's interesting is I heard, I saw online, whatever, a little bit ago, that the Jazz are going all in this summer. So if that's true, then Devin Booker to the Jazz kind of makes sense, because he fits their timeline with Lauri Markkanen, because Devin Booker is still like 27 or something. So he's still in that timeline, and that gives them, a pure scorer, to start with alongside Lauri Markkanen, and then whatever else they do from there. So if they are going all in, I could see how they might try to trade for Devin Booker. Now for Kevin Durant, the two that I keep seeing are OKC and Golden State. Do I think he's going back to either of those teams? I'm not sure. I think Golden State would be way more likely than the Thunder, just because of how the Thunder are constructed. And I just don't know if Kevin Durant would go back to the Thunder, just based on what happened when he left. And I don't know that he would go back to Golden State either. I don't know if Golden State wants him back. I don't know. I'm not putting out any rumors. I'm not saying they don't want him back, and I'm not saying he doesn't want to go there, to either place. I'm just saying I don't know. And why I say Golden State makes more sense is because Golden State just got knocked out in the play-in tournament, and they are trying to contend for a title with Steph Curry, trying to make the most of his prime, before it is over. And Kevin Durant is someone who might be available, who is still Kevin Durant, And we've seen that movie before. We know he fits in with Golden State. So that wouldn't be an issue. It's just a matter of, do both parties want that to happen? I'm not sure. And then again, for Bradley Beal, again, it's tough because he has a no trade clause. So I'm not sure where he would go, because I'm not sure who is taking on his contract in order for him to waive his no trade clause. Because I would assume that if he was going to go somewhere, he wants to go somewhere where he can contend. And someone who's contending is not trying to give up another star. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough. So the Phoenix Suns have a lot of work to do this summer. Let's see what happens.